Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Carolyn Johnson. Our top story tonight, that smash and grab robbery that led to multiple car crashes in Orange County. We have new video just into our newsroom from a passing driver of the crash that happened at Euclid and Malvern Avenue in Fullerton. NBC4's Macy Jenkins is live in Anaheim for us to walk us through how this all unfolded. Macy.
Well, Carolyn, incredibly, it all happened this afternoon in broad daylight. A band of thieves broke into this jewelry store behind me, and stole $750,000 worth of jewelry. Then they botched their own getaway within 15 minutes, crashing in two separate locations. You almost have to see it to believe it. An SUV plowing into the classic jewelers in Anaheim Hills at 2:30 Friday afternoon.
It was the scariest thing in my life.
That's owner Ramsey Tabello scrambling out of the way.
When it first happened, I thought somebody was having a medical emergency. Perhaps they stepped on the gas instead of the accelerator.
But then the car reversed.
Two getaway vehicles pulled up, and about 8 to 10 people ran into the store.
Surveillance video shows several people dressed in black hoodies, ski masks, and gloves, armed with crowbars as they smashed the glass cases holding the jewelry.
I had yelled, "Get out, get out, I have a gun, get out." I hope that would have done something, but they looked at my gun and ran to it, grabbed my gun. So once they grabbed my gun, I thought I might get shot. I ran for my life into my office.
His colleague took this video on his cell phone as the crew scooped an estimated $750,000 worth of jewelry into trash cans and backpacks before speeding off.
But karma got them quick.
Both cars headed west, and according to Anaheim PD, both crashed in two separate locations in Fullerton, 9 and 11 miles away from the jewelry store.
What are the odds? You know, you just hit you a lick for over $750,000 in jewelry, and you know, both of your getaway cars just so happen to crash. You know, we seen that first crash, and look at this, man. These these guys could have lost their lives in these crashes. These crashes are pretty bad, and you know, what people need to understand is you know, the cars that they are driving, they don't have the best handling, especially at high speeds and trying to dodge through certain things. You know, I feel like you know, a lot of these cars are just for the look of the car, you know. And of course, as you see, as bent up as it is, you know, cars of course aren't made like they used to be, but again, a lot of these cars are just for the look. They're not meant to be used as getaway cars. And so, yeah, I mean, you know, very brazen jewelry robberies, and these have been happening for the last few months. You know, even before then, but you know, an uptick in them in the last few months out in California, and this is in Anaheim Hills, as they were saying. But you know, just use the SUV to crash right into the door. Somebody more than likely done came through and seen what type of door they have, and you know, figured out what type of vehicle can be used to smash into the door, and you know, come in and you know, seeing how the whole setup of the store is already, so they knew, you know, what type of tools to use in order to, you know, get in and get out. And you know, like the dude said, man, he announced that he had a gun, which, you know, you shouldn't announce that you have a gun. You should just be going to get your gun and trying to use it. Even you know, it's a risk that there's going to be a shootout, of course. But I did see, you know, videos of like a jewelry store robbery like several months ago, like maybe back in November, where, you know, the guy had his gun and he ended up, I think he killed one, injured one, and you know, the robbers was, you know, over there hiding for their lives, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, what these jewelry store owners are going to have to do is definitely keep themselves armed. They may have to spend a little bit money on having like an armed security person in there to try to deter, you know, thieves from doing this type of thing. But like he was saying, you know, it was like 8 to 10 people who came up in there and was just start, breaking glass and stuffing jewelry in places. So, it's all coordinated. It's all very well planned. Because if you're able to get out of the location and try to get yourself, you know, on the way to, eluding police officers before, the birds in the sky can see you, then, it's a halfway decent plan. But the whole thing is trying to get away and, then finding somewhere to offload that jewelry. Because, once it makes the news and people see it, it makes it even harder to, offload the jewelry and, of course, try to find people to purchase that jewelry from you. So, you know, it's hard to really like get into the mind of like people who do criminal activity because their motivations could be multiple things. Of course, the first motivation is they want money. They could want some of to wear some of the jewelry that they stole. So all of it's like really for personal gain at the end of the day. Sometimes it could be initiations into gangs or trying to make sure that you fit in with a certain group of people. And yeah, I mean, but karma really hit these guys real quick because whoever the two that were driving, they shouldn't be driving at all, you know. But yeah.
Tour. Neither car was being pursued by police at the time. Just 8 minutes after the
See, neither car was being pursued by police. Of course, if they're young guys, they're gonna be in these Dodge Challengers, Dodge Chargers, um, because they're so in love with these particular cars, but you know these cars don't have the best handling, especially you trying to weave in and out of traffic at high rates of speed, where one wrong move or one wrong turn of the wheel, and this car is definitely spinning out of control.
break-in, one getaway car struck multiple vehicles at Lemon and Orangethorpe.
The driver of that vehicle was quickly apprehended as he attempted to flee from the vehicle.
A few minutes later, an Anaheim PD helicopter spotted the second getaway car and watched it collide with multiple cars at Euclid and Malvern. Police say a total of 7 thieves were detained at both scenes, and they're still searching for one more. We spotted officers recovering several rings and earrings from one of the cars.
So we're hoping that we get it all back.
Tabello relieved no one was hurt, with a message for any wannabe copycats.
It's not worth it. You're gonna ruin the small business owner's life, and you're gonna ruin your own life.
Yeah, I mean that's the truth. I mean the small business man, they have to consider, whether or not they want to stay at this particular locations that they are at. They have to repair the shop, repair the door, repair the display glasses. Hopefully they get the jewelry that they invested in back. Um, yeah, and then of course, if you're the thief, you get caught. You're looking to spend, time in jail and, go through that whole ordeal. So, you know, a lot of times, again, you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? A lot of people don't ask themselves that question before they do it. And a lot of times, the reward outweighs the risk. So they're willing to go through the risk, go through, whatever's needed to do what they plan to do and not really care about the consequences on the back end because, they obviously don't plan to get caught. And, maybe if they had like a more elaborate plan as far as getting to a certain destination and then, switching over to, different vehicles or something like that out of sight, maybe things would have been different for them. But, these guys feel like, once they hit their lid, they go back to wherever they're from and, try to figure out a way to get that jury off. But in my opinion, just the stupidest thing that you can do. And again, you see that these guys almost lost their lives in those wrecks. But let me know in the comments what you guys think as far as all these jewelry robberies and, make sure you hit the like for the algorithm, get me into the algorithm and make sure you subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I'm gonna close this one out. This is Justin Paul. Peace.